2,500 years ago in Greece, the best medicine for an illness was a night on a stone floor in a dark hall where live snakes crawled freely. You'd lie down among other sick people, snakes sliding past you in the dark, and wait for a god to appear in your dream and cure you. Sometimes right there, cutting you open in your sleep like a surgeon. This was a real hospital temple, the most famous in the ancient world. People traveled to it from all over Greece, paid, fasted, and lay down obediently among the snakes, hoping to wake up well. And many, after that night, swore it had actually worked. Snakes, sleep, a god in a dream. What does any of this have to do with medicine? Yet this wasn't the last resort of a few desperate cranks. It was where everyone went, for centuries, and afterward, they carved their stories into stone in gratitude. And it wasn't only common folk. The wealthy and the educated came too, from all across the Greek world. So, what was actually happening in that dark hall? And why did the most level-headed civilization of antiquity trust its health not to a doctor with a knife, but to sleep and a snake? The god was Asclepius, patron of medicine, son of Apollo. His healing temples, the Asclepieion, stood all across Greece, and the greatest and most famous was at Epidaurus. Temples like it operated throughout the Greek world, on the island of Kos, at Pergamon, in Athens, and people were treated in them for centuries, not just a generation or two. The treatment followed a strict order. First, the patient was purified. He washed, fasted, and made a sacrifice. Then he was led into a special room, the abaton, the sacred dormitory, and put to sleep. In the half-dark, non-venomous sacred snakes moved freely among the sleepers. If a snake touched you, awake or in a dream, that was taken to be the god himself come to heal you. The snake wasn't there to frighten. It sheds its skin and renews itself. And in the same way, the Greeks believed, the sick were meant to shed their disease. The dream decided everything. Asclepius would appear to the sleeper and either heal him on the spot or tell him what to do next. In the morning, the priests interpreted exactly what the god had shown you. It didn't always work the first time. If the god didn't come, you stayed another night and another. The temple itself was no gloomy cave, but a huge complex, like an ancient spa. Baths, healing springs, a gymnasium, even a theater. That theater at Epidaurus, with its perfect acoustics, still stands today. People came here to be healed, to rest, and to be entertained on the side. And beside Asclepius, they almost always pictured his daughter, Hygeia, goddess of health, also with a snake. Her name gave us the word hygiene. So every time you wash your hands, you're basically paying respects to the snake god's daughter. Those nights left behind real written evidence. At Epidaurus stand stone slabs carved with the stories of the healed. They're called ailments, and they read like an acollection of miracles. A woman named Cleo had been pregnant for 5 years. She spent a night in the temple, stepped outside the shrine, and immediately gave birth to a son who had once washed himself at the fountain and walked around beside his mother. Another one. A woman had worms in her belly, and in a dream, the god cut her open, pulled out 2 whole basins of worms, stitched her back up, and she recovered. A blind man had his eyes opened by the god in a dream and smeared with a salve, and woke up able to see. A man with an arrowhead lodged in his jaw woke up holding that arrowhead in his hand. And one blind boy, so the story goes, was cured by a temple dog simply licking his eyes. The sanctuary kept sacred dogs too, and cures were credited to them as well. It sounds like fairy tales, and much of it is. But people gave thanks generously and in very physical form. Once cured, a person left a votive at the temple, a clay copy of the body part that had been fixed, an eye, a leg, an ear. Archaeologists find them by the hundreds, whole walls of ceramic eyes and legs. From these offerings, you can see clearly what people came in with and what they believed. Behind the god, real things were happening. The patient finally got to rest, was washed, fed proper food, taken to the springs. And some scholars think the priests or doctors may genuinely have done something to the sleeping patient, cleaned a wound, set a joint, performed surgery, and credited it all to the god. You woke up with the arrowhead in your hand? Maybe someone simply pulled it out while you slept. The dreams, too, were interpreted by the priests, and conveniently, the god ordered you to move more, eat less, bathe in the spring, keep to a diet. Under the cover of a divine command, a person was getting perfectly sensible health advice. And those marble slabs of miracles are, if you look closely, history's first customer reviews. Except only the wins got carved. The ones who died in that same dark hall didn't get immortalized in stone. The temple advertised its victories in marble and quietly kept its failures to itself. Carefully curated 5-star reviews more than 2,000 years before the internet. And it worked flawlessly. A person read a wall of other people's miracles, filled up with belief, and for that reason alone, healed better. That belief has a modern name too, the placebo effect. And it's no trick, but measurable, real medicine. The mere expectation of getting better can dull pain and speed healing. And it works all the stronger the more impressive the setting. A solemn ritual, the authority of the healer, faith in his power. The Greeks had all of that perfected. The temple, the god, the snakes, and whole walls of the healed carved in stone. It's hard not to believe in the cure when you're surrounded by miracles. Without realizing it, the Greeks had turned that effect into an assembly line. You felt the same thing. A doctor calmly tells you it'll be fine, and you really do feel better. A pill you were told is strong helps before it's even had time to work. It's the same temple magic, just without the snake on the floor. So what were these temples really? The world's first hospitals. They ran on genuinely real things: rest, cleanliness, food, and on the raw power of belief, wrapped in a god and a snake. And the snake never left. Look at any ambulance, pharmacy, or hospital. There's a snake coiled around a staff, the rod of Asclepius. When a plague struck Rome, envoys sailed to Epidaurus for help, and, as the story goes, a sacred snake slid off the ship straight onto an island in the middle of the Tiber. And on that island, a hospital stands to this day. The symbol dreamed up by the priests of a snake cult outlived both Greece and Rome, and now hangs over every emergency room on the planet. 2,500 years have passed, and modern medicine still wears the badge of a snake temple, and still quietly leans on what those priests stumbled onto. That believing you'll be healed is, all by itself, half the cure. Imagine a temple like that running today. A dark hall, live snakes on the floor, a promise that the god will heal you in your sleep. Would you stay the night? Yes or no? Tell me in the comments.